It's looking like a 100% DNF out here at the Frigid Fox. We're only 14 miles in. It's 7 hours, so this is a pack. It's kind of been moving together the whole time here, so we're not gonna make the cutoff for 8 p.m. It's slow moving, 30-minute miles. So, but we're trying. We're not giving up. Probably change my socks soon. Can't really feel my toes. Be the first DNF. My first. Part of ultra running, right? Yeah, look at how deep that is. Oh. Got guy breaking trail up there and everybody following, and it's tough moving. Almost at the Rainbow Shade Station, and yep, everybody will be dropping there because most people, everyone, won't make the cutoff. It's been a few days now since the Frigid Fox has ended. Wasn't what we were looking for out there this year. It was tough conditions, and I'll just start from the beginning here. This is kind of a race recap video on top of the race footage that I did film while out there. So we got anywhere from about 18 inches to 20 inches of snow on the ground on the trails. So the lead person was really digging deep and breaking trail for everyone to follow. There was about 60 starters according to the race director. People were still trickling in. The parking lot was chaos. Everyone was getting stuck. People getting there late, people starting late, but everyone eventually ended up, getting together on the trail and being able to kind of work together. This was a very unique ultra in the sense that no one was really able to space it out. You really couldn't. You needed to break trail, and that required a lot of energy. I did it for about a half mile towards the start of the race, and I'll tell you what, I was drenched in sweat, and I needed to step off to the side and take in some calories and let the next person break trail. And that was it for me breaking trail. A half mile was more than enough. I was working very hard, and so let me back up a little bit here. The parking lot, complete chaos. A lot of people getting frustrated. I heard some people talking, saying that people showed up and they saw the parking lot and immediately turned around and left. It was chaos out there at Moth Lake, or Mothy Lake, however you say it. I say Moth Lake. The DNR ended up showing up and plowing. They got stuck. So it was just chaos from the start. We started off the race feeling good. First mile was around 23 minutes. To be able to kind of make the cutoff, you kind of needed to be around 28 minutes per mile. But we were going so slow from even mile 2 that it was starting to become impossible to make that 8 p.m. cutoff at mile 23. So when we got to the first aid station, it was almost about 5 hours, I believe. Somewhere around 5 hours to go 7.5 miles. So at that pace, we couldn't get anything going. There was no way we were going to make it to that cutoff. The trails conditions were just so brutal. The lead person breaking trail also was really focused on navigation. Now, on the Ice Age Trail, there are these yellow blazes on poles. So they are kind of spread out a little bit. I'd say every 10th to kind of a quarter mile. But with the snow covering, you're just kind of looking for that post sticking up. And it became an issue of just kind of not only breaking trail, but also navigation-wise, because the snow was so deep and it was covering so many trees that they would just bend down over the trail. And we were kind of bushwhacking for some sections for sure, kind of going in between the branches. Things were whipping you in the face, and that really slows you down. I've never been in conditions that slow, and I've been doing winter ultras for a few years now, and there's nothing like that. I do a ton of training on trails. I never really go on the treadmill, and I've never been in snow conditions like that before, I'll tell you what. This was a race for the books, definitely. This is kind of record snowfall here in Wisconsin, at least for the Frigid Fox or the Frozen Otter. There's never been that much snow down. Talking to a lot of people out there at the Frigid Fox, we kind of just understood that once we get to that next aid station at mile 15.5, 16-ish, we're going to have to drop. I got there about 5:40, almost 6 p.m. at 15.5, and the mood was kind of gloomy. A lot of people were dropping. Everybody pretty much dropped. The people that went on towards Highway P, I give you credit, but you weren't going to make that cutoff. If you know the trails there, which me personally and a lot of other people doing the race know the course very well, the section from Greenbush Group Camp to Highway P is pretty much the hardest section. It's very hilly. It's very rocky, but the rocks wouldn't really have mattered at that point. But there is a few open sections there where drifting could really be an issue. But you just weren't going to make that cutoff. I do give you guys credit for continuing on, but it's also kind of dangerous if you're only 2-3 people moving on and getting stuck out there. There's a couple road crossings, but they are very spaced out towards the end of Highway P. There's one about a mile in from Highway P, and then just about 2 miles. So you would have to be moving pretty quick to get to one of those road crossings before 9-10 p.m. So nothing we could really do. This is my first DNF, which it happens, right? Some of the best ultra runners there, the most elite ultra runners, people that try hard things and do hard things are going to get DNFs. There's nothing we can do about it. It wasn't an issue with my legs. It wasn't an issue with nutrition. It was an issue of the conditions, and I could not physically get to the cutoff by 8 p.m. There's just no way. Unless you're on some kind of skis, which is obviously not ultra running. And even if you were snowshoeing, there is no way you're going to make it there. It just part of the game we play in ultras and part of the game in winter ultras, for sure. So, kind of a race recap here. So it took us, the pack that was really together, which we were all pretty much together, We're all in one little line, as you can tell by the videos. 8.5 hours to go 16 miles on my watch. So very slow. Some miles were 40 minutes. I've never went that slow in my life, but I'll tell you what, this was a great experience. This is something I'll never forget. Everyone out there, I loved meeting you on the trail. I loved the conversations we had, and I learned a lot, not only about myself, but the camaraderie of ultra running and the power of everyone together. Now, if there wasn't a cutoff time for 8 p.m., I believe we would have kept going, and we would have made it. We would have finished up to mile 23, and then on our way back, we broke trail. So we would have it a lot easier on the way back down to Mossy Lake. But it just wasn't possible. The logistics of kind of keeping everything running, too, is, kind of dangerous for the aid station volunteers and also people driving around, because the cold temps really set in that night. And I'll tell you what, I should have changed my socks at Butler Lake, but I did not. I was planning to do it at Greenbush, and obviously we all dropped at Greenbush, but I should have changed my socks a little earlier because my feet were really getting cold by mile 15.5. And like I said, that's 8.5 hours with the same pair of socks. Kind of just didn't judge it right. But this is part of the thing that I'm talking about, the learning experience, is, hey, change those socks more often. Doesn't matter if you're wearing Gore-Tex shoes or not. I was wearing Gore-Tex shoes. I was wearing gaiters. But my feet just really got cold at the end there, to the point where I really couldn't feel my toes. And I was kind of on the verge of kind of saying, hey, I should maybe stop right now on the trail, even in these really nasty conditions, just to change my socks. I was carrying socks on me. I could have done that. But I kind of, I guess, just a learning experience and kind of a stupid mistake on my part. But otherwise, the calories, nutrition, the pacing was great. Obviously, the pacing was slower than expected, so I can't really talk about that too much. But nutrition was great. I was taking a ton of calories. I felt absolutely great. The next day I got back home and did a half marathon, so it wasn't an issue of tired legs or anything like that. It was truly the conditions. So so that is the Frigid Fox recap. This is the ultra that no one finished. This is first for me, and I don't know of many other races. I'm sure I can find them on Ultra Sign Up, but of a race where no one finished, just all DNFs. And everyone together, too, so nobody really spaced it out. So that's also a really cool, unique part about this race. Now, there were two people that kind of took off, but I wouldn't say they're more than 5 minutes ahead of us. It's nearly impossible to break trail for that much time. I mean, you are really using a lot of power, using a lot of energy. It's just not sustainable. Absolutely not. So I don't care how many calories you're taking in or how good of an endurance athlete you are. It's not sustainable long term. So so I can 100% complete DNF, and I really appreciate everybody that was out there breaking trail. Those guys out front, hey, I give you credit, but it just wasn't going to happen for us this year. And I don't know if I'll be back next year with graduate school going on, but it's very possible I'll be back, especially with just having this year kind of a little downer, because last year I completed the race in about 15 hours, and I wasn't not even close to halfway this year. So that's my race recap of the Frigid Fox, and hope you enjoyed those clips up in the front too.